Hello, hello. I think it is working. Okay, hello. I should keep it somehow like this. Yeah, okay, okay, okay. So for me, I would keep it for reference 3333. Okay, so once I am doing the sync for the audio and video, this will be my marker actually. Okay, so S underscore RFC is nothing but related to RFC authorizations. In our case, we are dealing with S underscore RFC underscore ADM. Basically, this particular object keeps um, actually, it's very early actually to tell you about this object. It keeps an RFC whitelisted. When I say keeps an RFC whitelisted, this is basically used whenever we are using a trusted RFC. It's actually very detailed, discussion on trusted RFCs and how does this function. So basically, whosoever is working on that trusted RFC should have this object so that they can actually pass through that RFC. Okay, nothing like no rocket science, but this is like a little more technical stuff which is not needed at the moment. So I would just skip it. I'll just maintain it as a connection to web system because anyways we'll be connecting some web app to another web system or whatsoever. So ये वाला देखिए अभी maintain हो गया है पूरा. Either I can give like dummy values जैसा मैंने यहाँ दिया और जैसा हमने कल discuss किया था we can just deactivate this. Got it? So क्या होगा even if I'm deactivating or I'm doing giving a dummy value कल को कोई ना कोई इस change को test करेगा. In our case, because we are designing a basis role, we would ask somebody from basis team to test this role. So वो login करेंगे, we'll give them test ID, उसमें इस role को डालेंगे and we'll ask them to test. तो वो login करके when they will test, they will get some authorization issues because यहाँ पे dummy values है. You don't see those values there. If I deactivate it, then also they will get some error. So in both the cases we are covered up. हम अगर डमी भी देते हैं तो भी हमारे को दे वुड रिपोर्ट बैक सम इशू. अगर हम डीएक्टिवेट भी करते हैं देन ऑल्सो दे विल कम बैक विद सम इशू. सो एज सिक्योरिटी एडमिन इफ आई गिव यू a liberty to deactivate or give dummy value, what would you choose? Yes, because if you are deactivating, you are not giving anything additional. लेकिन अगर आप dummy डालते हैं, there might be some other role, some other decode which might make a misuse of those dummy values. So it's better to keep it deactivated. You are not sure. अभी जैसे नीचे वाले में s underscore translation. This is nothing but a translation environment for an authorization object. I'm not sure what value should go in, so I would just deactivate. तो क्या होगा at the time of UAT means user acceptance test. At the time of UAT, they would come back saying that we are facing some auth issue. And if I see in those SU53s कि उनको कुछ error आ रहा है, I can just activate that authorization object and fill whatever values they are reported missing. Okay, so now I can just save this. So it is giving me a profile name. Either I can copy and paste this or leave it as is, depending on what company I'm working for, whatever convention they follow. I can just save this. This is saved and I can generate this. So I can generate the role. So now I have a role, this role created. So I'll just keep this name somewhere handy so that we can use it. So basis role एक हमारा general बन गया. Okay. And now you can see the authorization tab is like having a green indicator. That means the profile is generated for this role. Okay. As of now, I have not created any user, so I have not assigned this to any user. So it looks good. Okay. So abhi I need to go out. Acha, since I am logged in with SAP Star, see, so this is not a good practice. So let me create one user ID for myself, and then I can log out from SAP Star and you start using the other user ID. I'll just create this ID. So no default company address has been maintained, so I need to create a company address. ABCD is my company, and it would ask a few more details, I guess. Yeah, company is there, and I need to give the country. I can give as India, and time zone could be plus 5:30. That's it. And वो किधर है? It's come. I think I should be able to save it now. Yeah, it got saved, I think. Yeah, so अभी मुझे last name is mandatory, and I give my first name as well. And email मेरे पास अभी है नहीं, तो I can just keep xyz@gmail.com. Then I can go to logon data, give some simple login at 123, login at 123, and I can give the validity period as end of this year. Maybe like I would be working for this particular company by end of this year, so I can give as 31/12 to 2018. So यहाँ पे ऐसा दिख रहा है like YYYY hyphen MM hyphen DD. So it depend this format depends on how our format is maintained in SAP system. Again, basis plays a vital role. They can change the format how it looks. So it may look like the usual convention. Sometimes it looks like 31/12 dot to 2018. Another format is 31 slash 2018. Another one is 21 hyphen 12 hyphen 31 hyphen 2018. So these are the usual formats that they can assign. Okay. So I have this. Now I have not created many of the roles. अभी इन्होंने अरे why is this? I gave it that way. It's taking it this way, लेकिन उसको चाहिए MMDDYY वाले फॉर्मेट में. See if I press enter, it's giving me an error. So spaces dot spaces dot spaces. So I'll give it like 31 dot 12 dot 2018. I think this should be good. Yeah, it took it now. So now I can go to the roles tab. Because I do not have SNC, I don't want to put up any details, defaults for this user. The default date, this is depending on my user type. मैं जब login करूँगा, how the dates I would look at. And then no parameters as of now. All these things will be given by the company itself. Parameters, when I say parameters, these are user specific parameters, sometimes used for claiming the working hours. Sometimes they are used for changing the layouts, something. There could be many things. So parameters is nothing but a very specific to the users what they want to do. In CRM and systems like wherein we have portals, therein this can be used for changing the business rules as well. So this totally depends on user to user and company to company what they're using it for. As of now, we do not have much of roles in the system. As you can see, it's a new fresh copy. So that's why I don't have any roles. So as of now, I'm skipping this role. I can actually give the role that we have just created. I can just click on paste that, press enter, and you can see from today it is active now. From today it is active till 31/12/999. So this is all good because I have already maintained my valid through date here. So this is all fine. Even if I do not maintain it as 31/12/2018, I'm pretty restricted that I won't be able to log in with this after this date. So this is fine. Even if you want कि नहीं ये वाला रोल भाई आपको केवल एक महीने के लिए मिलेगा, so I can give it like 30.08 पे this role will expire. So even if I have access till the end of this year, I can use all the T codes inside this role only till this date. Okay, so I'm just giving it this way. Abhi profiles mein, since we do not have much of roles and all, profiles mein you can see the profile for the role which we have just created. And along with that, I will give me SAP all. I'm just doing this for testing purpose because SAP all is a very strong profile. We should not assign to any users. But since we are doing a lot of testing, I need all this access. That's why I'm giving SAP all as of now. I can just save this. Huh. That automatically get created once we generated the profile for our role. ये जो role था, after we generated the profile for this role, that was the profile that got generated. So the name is this. This is the name of that profile. You can see profile for role this. So this is nothing but the profile for this particular role. So the system would not be looking into what I have in my roles tab, but it would be looking into what I have in my profiles tab. Okay. अब इसके बाद में I should log out of this session and then I would log in with my user ID. So client is 200. Now on this screen also, what you see by default, right? Once I open the system, what you see default in the client area, this is also a parameter in RZ10. You can change this. So if I change it to 200, I would always see 200. I don't want to go and change it every time. So I can make it 200 by default and I would be able to log in with that. So everything is customizable and everything basis has a hold on to customize. So I right now I have not created any conventions. So I've not asked for a password reset on my first screen. That's why it straight away went inside. It is not asking me for a password change. So if फिर से error आने लगा anyways. Now I'm into my user ID. So actually I can use all those T codes that I had given right in the role menu. So you can see my user menu contains all those T codes. So right now, if I try to execute any, now I already have SAP also, it doesn't make sense. Otherwise, if I execute anything else which is there, which is not there in my T codes list, I would be given an error. Okay, so maybe we can try that. This is 01, and let me see if I can edit it and remove my SAP all profile. Save this. And if I go back and if I execute SU01 now, see, you're not authorized to use as transaction SU01 because this was not there in the basis role. Okay, basis role में भी जो भी कुछ था. So now I'm getting an error. So I can execute SU53. You're not authorized for transaction SU53 also. And that's the reason why I gave SAP all for me because I forgot that SU53 मैंने भी include नहीं किया है. Okay, so let me just go and give SAP star से. So for giving SU53 access also, there is another role that is called end user role. Let me give SAP all. So there's something called as end user role, which contains SU53, SU1, oh sorry, SU1, SU3, I believe. These are very generic T codes because SU53 you would need if you want to see the dumps, like if you want to see the errors, missing authorization data. So for that you use SU3. You can go inside SU3 and you can set up the defaults for your ID. जैसे जो मैं बोल रहा था ना यहाँ पे ये जो defaults हैं, you can actually set these up using SU3. So if I'm in my area SU3, if I execute, and I can set up the address data, the defaults, the parameters, all these things I can use with SU3. If I go to SU1, I can maintain my own personal address data. So these three four T code like very generic T code. So everybody should have access. They can maintain their academic title. They should be able to maintain the function. Every time they should not come back to security asking कि नहीं नहीं हमारा address data थोड़ा change हो गया है. Please maintain that. Please correct my room number. It is not correct. Please set the floor number, the building number. They would come back saying कि मुझे telephone number update करना है. How do I do that? You can just say you can go to SU1 and you can execute it and you can fill it by yourself. Okay, so these things are very generic. So end user role will contain all of this access. So if I just go to SUIM, when I say end user role, there should be some role with say name as end user. So I would go to roles by complex selection criteria. So I'm into SUIM and then I'm trying to search for a role which should have SU3 and all. So I'm searching for something with the end user. So let's see what we get. There should be an SAP delivered role for that. So if I see here, I am getting something as UWL end user. So I can click on this and I can click on transaction assignments and it will give me the list of T codes inside this. So nothing is there in this role. So I will have to create an end user role on my own, give all these 3, 4 transactions, and then we will be good with that. Okay. So you understood how we are creating a new role. So we just went into the system. We first analyzed what do we need. So Basis gave us a list of T codes, key T codes we would need. Similarly, a security team, if you go, they would give you a list of T codes like SU01, PFCG, SE16, SE16, SUIM, SU24, SUSM50, AL08, SM04, and what else? ST01 and SU50, SU50 तो खैर सबको ही मिलेगा. And what else? SU02 for that matter. Anyways, this one we are not using anymore. SU02 is nothing but the creating profiles. I'll show you that. So this was way back when modern SAP was not there. So basically now what we have is called a role and we can generate and we can create a profile out of it. But previously it was not that way. Like before C++ came into picture, people were still trying to learn machine language. They were still trying to learn assembly language and try to working on that, right? Similarly, here in SAP, we had the concept of creating profile right from scratch. So this was used, SU02 was used. So if they are saying, so this says, do not use this transaction any longer for profile and user administration. Use the profile generator instead. The profile generator makes it much easier to allocate authorization. However, if you do not wish to use the profile generator, you can still use this transaction. So people that don't use it anymore because this is very cumbersome. यहाँ पे क्या करना पड़ेगा एक one T code के लिए whatever authorization objects it needs, you have to give each and every authorization object along with the required values, and then you would create a profile. जबकि रोल में क्या है सीधे आपने ट्रांजैक्शन डाले एंड दे जस्ट क्रिएटेड इट right away like 5-minute job. This for this I need to assign one T code. It will take good 10 to 15 minutes just to assign one T code. बिकॉज यहाँ पे मैं सारे ऑथरेशन ऑब्जेक्ट डालूंगा एंड देन उसके अंदर के सारे वैल्यूज डालूंगा एंड देन आई वुड जनरेट द प्रोफाइल एंड देन आई वुड बी एबल टू गिव इट टू सम यूजर. Okay, so this is long lost story, now not used. SU something like some SM51, STS 59, many T codes like that. So security के लिए ये सारे T codes हमको चाहिए. Similarly, when you go to ABAP, they would say we need SA38, SA38, and these are like ABAP Workbench. They create programs on these T codes. Okay, they can run a program on SA38 and they can create using AC38 and so on. So every module, every business module like MMF, FICO, PMSD, they would come back saying that we need this transaction, we need that transaction. We would come back saying we need FB01, FB02, FB03 and so on, with along with XK01, XK02 and so on. So every module will have a different requirement. They would come to you and then you would design roles. Now, while designing a role, you would also keep in mind what are the common things. Like for example, basis has a common T code like AL08, SM04, SM59, SM50. These four, uh, you know, T codes are common to security right from here. AL08, SM04, SM50, and SM59. So what I would do is in char T codes के लिए I will create one role, say S1, and remaining के लिए I'll create a role S2. Okay, for security के लिए. For basis के लिए in 4 T codes के लिए I'll have to create a separate one. लेकिन क्योंकि already security के लिए मैंने create कर दिया, right? So I will use those. I will use that one plus जो इसमें remaining रह गए हैं जैसे SJN, SCC4, ये दो अगर रह गए, I would create a role B1. So in my system, how will a basis access work? For basis to work, basis would get a role S1 and B1. Security will get role S1 and S2. Very simple example. So whatever is common, I've given it in one single role. So I do not have to fiddle with that role any longer. So कल को कोई आएगा वो बोलेगा I just need these four row T codes. I don't need other detailed things. These are nothing but just overview जैसी चीजें हैं. Say AL08 it gives nothing but the users who are logged into the system. AL08 and SM04 are very identical, but a little difference in their functionality. But both give us a list of users in the system. SM50 gives a list of the instances, and SM51 gives us a list of the work processes in the system. So if I go here and I just execute SM50, I should get list of work processor. Yeah. So SM50 gives the list of work process. SM51 gives the list of instances. So if I go to SM51, this will give me the list of instances. So I have only one instance running right now. And it also gives how many message types are there: dialog, batch, update. These are nothing but my work processes. So I have got one, two, three dialog work process, one update process, one enqueue process, one background, one spool, and another work update process. All are waiting state. Only one dialog is running because it is serving my requests. And this PID is nothing but the process ID. If I refresh that, then you can see abhi it's fetching this particular report. If I go to transaction AL08, these are like regular things जो हम लोग security में देखते हैं day to day. So I can see there are two logins with SAP star user ID, and at what terminal. Obviously, this is my machine name. This is not the server name. This is the machine name. This is the server name. So active instances, there's one instance. How many users are there active? 3. Interactive users 2, RFC users 1, number of plugins used. So this is like all technical things, but this is important. Active instances. So if I have a production server, I would be having multiple instances, not just one. तो पहले instance में इतने लोग हैं, उसके बाद एक और ऐसी box होगा, उसमें लिखा होगा ये दूसरे instance में इतने लोग हैं, and so on and so forth. So now coming back to the trace wala question. If a user is logged into the system and he's not able to execute something, and you have set up a trace, how do you find out why your trace is not capturing? So this is where I go into the system and I check कि वो user कौन से instance में logged in है, right? Once I get the user, जैसे मान लीजिए ए रायजादा को प्रॉब्लम था, कुछ मिशिंग इशू था, तो यहाँ पे मल्टीपल 10 instances थे. I saw that इस particular instance में he is having some issues. After I know this is this instance में issue है, I need to go into that instance. So I would go into SM51, and यहाँ पे पूरी list of instances होंगे वो सारे 10, but I know my user is in the first instance. I can go here and I can click on remote logon. Once I click on remote logon, I'm actually into that instance. This ये वाला instance में I'm there in that instance. यहाँ पे दिखा रहा है, तो अच्छा showing ये वाला instance में. So once I'm inside that instance, I can go to SM04. Now SM04 would give me the list of users in that instance, in the current instance. So AL08 का look is very much different from SM04 का look. AL08 का look is very different. So AL08 का look is list of all users logged on in that system. When I say system, I am including all the servers. Okay. And here I just get user list. Although in our scenario it is same, but in actual scenarios this is different. This will give you list of all the users in all the instances, AL08, and SM04 will give you all the users in the current instance. So this is the current instance. So I can go in this instance and then I can set up trace like /n st01, and I can set up trace for that user, and I would get answers here. Okay, I would get all the missing authorizations here. तो अगर मैं अभी अपने आईडी के लिए मान लीजिए मैं लगाता हूँ just for playing it around, I've clicked on general filters. I've clicked on trace for user only this user I want, and I want all the things. Basically, I'm checking everything. Mostly we check only for authorization check. Other functions we just keep it sideways because we are not monitoring other log operations, HTTP calls and all. I can just set up trace on, and then I would monitor. Now this user, I was logged into some user, right? हाँ ये मेरा user है. So now I can go to slash npfcg and I did something here. I tried something here. I displayed it. It didn't work out. Then I went to FB01 and I saw यहाँ पे FB01 exist नहीं करता because this is a training system. We do not have finance module installed onto this machine. Okay. Then I go to rsec admin. Yes, it is opening up because this has BW components, that's why. And I've not generated the BW components, that's why it is compiling that program. Anyways, I did some functions, so I should go back into my trace and I can do an analysis. So I can do the analysis without switching off trace, but the best practice says that you should switch it off. Okay, so let me switch it off and I can see this is the timestamp. So I can go to analysis and I can go the username. I can give the username as my ID and ये पिछले 10 मिनट का डेटा उठाएगा. So I'm good with that. I can click on execute. It says your records rate. Okay. Just a second. It is still compiling. Yeah, it is 17. It's 9, right? So you can see this. So I executed transaction PFCG. I was authorized for that. So RC0 means you are authorized. So this comes to the next topic for trace. Little bit on trace. Return codes in trace. So this is like daily activity for security people. So on a daily basis, you might be running multiple trace. On a daily basis, you might be creating users. Role creation and user creation, it might not be a daily activity. लेकिन trace, SU53 analysis, these are like regular work. तो आपके पास में कोई आएगा saying that I'm not able to execute a transaction. Yeah, I'm getting an authorization error while executing this or executing that. Then the first thing you ask them is like SU53. So you have to analyze SU53. And then if that is not working, the second step is to analyze using trace. So this trace is like a regular activity for us. So you should know how trace works and what are the limitations of trace. So limitation is it could be another system that you are logged into and the user is in another system, and then traces you can't analyze. So that's one thing. Then we have in trace we have RC0. That means successful authorization. हम्म. देखिए पहले सबसे पहली बात है कि फॉर रनिंग अ ट्रेस आई शुड बी ऑन द सेम सर्वर. तो सबसे पहले AL08 करेंगे to know the user's instance. Then उस instance में आप जाएंगे to go inside you need to go SM51, select the instance and remote logon. Then when you go inside, then you can go to ST01 and do your analysis. SM04 I just gave you, I just told you because sometimes user session is got stuck. Okay, मान लीजिए I reported that my session is stuck somehow. So trace यहाँ पे है management. ओके ये वो कंपाइल हो गया. फॉर एग्जांपल मेरा यहाँ पे स्क्रीन फ्रोज हो गया था. दिस इज माय यूजर लॉगिन. यू कैन सी मेरा यूजर लॉगिन से है. तो मेरा मान लीजिए स्क्रीन यहाँ पे फ्रीज हो गया एंड आई कम टू सिक्योरिटी ऑब्वियसली सेइंग कि प्लीज डू समथिंग माय सेशन इज लॉग्ड. तो यू कैन गो टू SM04 एंड देन यहाँ पे यू कैन सी वन वन सेशन मेरा ये चल रहा है. It is showing that session is active. You can double click on this and you can click on the session name and you can end the session. So if I can show you, I'm on the screen, right? So let me just यहाँ पे इसको side में रख लेता हूँ and I should keep this also one side. ये केस सेशन है and एक सेशन है. I want to show you how this works. So if I have this session यहाँ पे जो चल रहा है, as admin I can go inside SM04, I can select the session name and I can click on end session. As soon as I click on end session, you would see this screen will go away. The system has this user session was deleted by the system admin. You click on OK, that is gone. And यहाँ पे still shows, so you need to refresh this list and you can see that user session was closed. Okay. So basically SM04 just for killing sessions. So these three things you should know. AL08 से जाके you know the instance where the user is there. So you would see the named ID, the user ID along with the instance name. You know the instance name now. Then you go to SM51. You see where is that instance. You just click on that and click on the small छोटा वाला जो icon था. You can click on that. You can click on this small icon, remote logon, and then you would land into that system. Once you are in that system, then you can set up trace for that system. So जब trace set हो गया है, and then you ask that user to again execute the transaction whatever he was executing, वो execute करेंगे, and then you would get something of this sort, wherein you have the timestamp, the type, the object name, and the text. Object name along with the return codes. So return code 0 means it's a successful authorization, that the user was not having any authorization issue. So we were able to execute PFCG, right? So no authorization issue was there. Then उसके बाद में I went inside which RSec admin, and then I was able to execute RSec admin also because I'm having SAP all right now. That's why I'm able to execute everything, and that's why RC is 0 all the time. Okay. अभी इसके बाद में we have something called as RC4. RC equals 4. Then we have RC equals 8. हाँ, दिव्या has some doubt.
वो जो उसके सेशन पे जाना है एसएपी के सेशन पे इसमें जब हमने ट्रेस ऑन करी थी तो हम ट्रेस ओवरव्यू करने से पहले ट्रेस ऑफ करा था.
हाँ
अगर हम उसे ऑफ नहीं करके डायरेक्ट एनालिसिस करेंगे तो
हाँ
क्या पीछे अभी भी वो ट्रेस
चलती
रहेगी?
रहेगी, राइट.
तो वो जितने ट्रांजैक्शन यूजर करता रहेगा
अभी
उसके
ये
बाद
दिस इज जस्ट वन स्नैपशॉट ऑफ दैट टाइम जब आपने एनालिसिस शुरू किया है. सो व्हाट दिव्या's क्वेश्चन इज, इफ यू आर नॉट स्विचिंग द ट्रेस ऑफ and if you are not switching this off and we just go ahead and do analysis, अगर मैं यहाँ पे trace on करता हूँ, let me pull that up इस यूजर के लिए, if I am switching on the trace now and if I am not stopping this particular trace and if I just go to analysis, so what it would do? So the answer is it would keep on logging whatever the session user is doing. It will keep on logging. लेकिन जब मैं यहाँ पे इसको analysis को execute करूंगा, at that point of time जितने authorization objects हो चुके होंगे that will show here. लेकिन अभी भी रिकॉर्डिंग चल रहा है, तो अभी भी अगर वो कुछ खेल रहा होगा, वो कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन एग्जीक्यूट कर रहा होगा, वो चलता रहेगा. सो आई कैन गो बैक. जब तक मैं ऑफ नहीं करता हूँ ट्रांजैक्शन, वो ट्रेस को ऑफ नहीं करता हूँ. अगर हम करना भूल जाते हैं तो दैट एंट्री रिमेन्स इन आवर नेम कि इन्होंने ट्रेस ऑन करके छोड़ दिया है, एंड देन बेसिस वुड कम एंड आस्क यू टू स्विच दैट ट्रेस ऑफ, और इधर बेसिस वुड गो देमसेल्फ एंड दे कैन स्विच ऑफ द ट्रेस, because this is a system overload. This is recording some user session. It's a system overload. It will keep the system busy for a long time, so you need to ensure that you are switching trace off once you are logging off, before logging off the system.
डायलॉग वर्क प्रोसेस में
ये डायलॉग वर्क प्रोसेस में पीछे एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा होगा.
तो हम बैकग्राउंड में भी किसी की ट्रेस रन कर सकते हैं.
डिपेंड्स व्हाट इज योर रिक्वायरमेंट. ऐसा नहीं है कि यू कैन स्विच बिटवीन डायलॉग या इसको बैकग्राउंड में चलने दे सकते हैं. यू कांट सिलेक्ट अ वर्क प्रोसेस फॉर मेकिंग दिस trace analysis. You can't select a work process for that. It runs runtime on the memory, so it can't be a background work process. Background work process will need a background job to run. This is not a background job. This is runtime. अभी क्या चल रहा है वो रिकॉर्ड करना है, right? Background job would only run only if the background work process is free. What if the background work process is occupied right now? It's running some background job. So right now you would need a dialog active work process which would process this trace analysis. Okay. So if you are not switching off the trace, it would keep on going in the backend, and वहाँ पे it will keep a thread. I would say a thread. When I say thread, it would be a dialog work process that is being occupied by this trace. So I need to switch off the trace before or after I do my analysis. So that's a good habit to switch off trace. Otherwise, basis would ask us to do it. So that doesn't look nice. कि अरे हमारा काम था and why is basis asking us to do? Then we have something. Yeah. Uh, कहाँ पे? हाँ. हाँ. हाँ करेक्ट. सो यहाँ पे जब मैंने इसको ट्रेस ऑन किया था, आई गॉट दैट यूजर सेशन. उसके बाद में आई जस्ट वेंट टू एनालिसिस. पहले मैंने जनरल फिल्टर्स में उसका नाम दिया. फिल्टर में नाम देने के बाद मैं क्लिक्ड ऑन ऑथरेशन चेक एंड देन आई क्लिक्ड ऑन ट्रेस ऑन. सो इट स्टार्टेड रिकॉर्डिंग द सेशन फॉर दैट यूजर जो भी यहाँ फिल्टर में दिया था. वंस दैट यूजर इज डन विद द एक्टिविटी आई कैन स्विच ऑफ द ट्रेस एंड देन आई कैन गो टू एनालिसिस. तो यहाँ पे जो टाइम स्टैम्प है, so that timestamp is little messed up because the system was not up to the mark. That's why मैंने यहाँ पे 00 करके डाल दिया था. It's taking trace for the entire day actually. तो मेरा सेशन तो दो में एक मिनट का था. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज गिविंग मी द यहाँ पे करेक्ट वो दिखा रहा टाइम स्टैम्प. सो इट्स लाइक 9 आवर्स, सॉरी 21 आवर्स, क्योंकि 9 बज रहा है, 9 बज के 15 मिनट हो रहे हैं. सो आई एग्जीक्यूटेड दिस अराउंड 10 मिनट्स बैक. दैट्स व्हाई. तो यहाँ पे इफ आई गिव दिस टाइम स्टैम्प करेक्टली, if I give as 21 the active system time. So if you go here system and you go to status, you can see the active time, the system time of this system. So right now this is the system time. Okay. So I had previous log on date was like 00. It is not giving me the correct value because this is a newly refreshed client, but this is the system time right now. So I know that this was executed after 9 p.m. So I can go give it like this, and then I can select all, and then I can till 21 say 30. So now I'm narrowing down my time, but still I would get the same result because ये 9 बजे के बाद execute हुआ था. Okay, I need to be correct on the time. The time for analysis I need to give that correctly. Only then it will give me the correct. Otherwise वो 00 जैसे record दिखा रहा ना, 0 records displayed. So it might show like that. Okay. So यहाँ पे I can see everything is in green, everything is RC0, RC0, RC0. That means there is no problem with that user. Now let me go to SAP star wala, and then I should go to SU01, and let me take out some that SAP all wala profile. Let me take that out, and then again I would try to execute something, and then I would get error. उसको हम trace में catch करेंगे. So let me save this. अच्छा, एक और चीज नोटिस करिए. व्हेन आई सेव दैट, व्हेन आई सेव गोइंग फ्रॉम अ यूजर, जब मैंने SU01 में जाके कुछ चेंज किया है, व्हेन आई एम सेविंग, आई डू नॉट नीड टू एग्जीक्यूट यूजर मास्टर कंपैरिजन, राइट? आई एम नोवेयर डूइंग दैट. दैट इज डन फ्रॉम PFCG वाला स्क्रीन. ओके, because अभी right now whatever we are doing that to that user, we are saving that then and there itself. That's why user master comparison is not needed. लेकिन जब हम एक रोल में जाके यूजर को असाइन करते हैं या यूजर से हटाते हैं, एट दैट टाइम वी नीड टू कंपेयर रोल. So that will actually save the user master data for all the users at that point of time. Okay, whatever users are there in that list, it would save the data for them. So now I need to log in again with my credentials 200 and the password. Okay, so now I'm into my session and I would go to SU01. Okay, अभी देखिए मुझे error आने लगा. So I would come back to security team saying अरे I'm not able to execute SU01, I need it for my daily job या कुछ भी. Then I as a security admin either I can ask him for SU53. अभी तो SU53 भी execute नहीं कर सकता. I asked him for SU53, वो गया उसने execute किया SU53 and then he got an error, अरे you are not authorized for SU53 as well. So now I can go to trace. I went to trace, I gave that user ID in general filters, I clicked on authorization check, I clicked on trace on. When I clicked on trace on, it gave me a timestamp. This timestamp is actually messed up. It is showing 5 evening 5:48, right? 17:48. But the timestamp is not correct. The time which my system is following is my desktop time, this 9:18 p.m. So I have set up trace now. now that user is started up with transaction sgen, that is his daily activity. क्योंकि वो basis के role में था, he is authorized for sgen. So you can see that screen will come up. We will let it come up. So sgen is loading. Then I gave him SSC4. So oh sorry, slash n scc4. This slash n slash o you know, right? Slash n is on the same screen. Slash o would create a new session. Slash n SCC4, I think it would be able to execute SCC4 as well. Or it is able to. But when it comes to SU01, sorry, again and again I'm making the same mistake. SU01, हाँ ये सब ये यूजर कर रहा है, हाँ वो यूजर यूजर कर रहा है, ट्रेस ऑन करके, हाँ एंड देन एनालाइज करना, करेक्ट, till it completes. अभी मैंने SU01 किया, मुझे error आ गया, and then I'm like, Sanata, we are not able to execute this transaction. I showed you दो चल रहे हैं, this is not working. I will not be able to complete my daily activities like that. अभी उसने काम finish कर लिया है, then you can analyze. Now I'm not switching on the trace, but I'll just go and start analyzing. So you can see this is 919, right? So 9 from 15 I can analyze. 9:15 to 9:30 I can analyze, and I should get all the things. So you can see here, initially SGen चलाया था, return code is 0. Return code 0 means successful authorization. उसके बाद मैं SCC4 चलाया था, return code 0. Because SCC4 fetches out a table, okay? It fetches out the list of clients in the system. It fetches that from the table. This is nothing but a table authorization group. Authorization object for table access. So it went and it checked for this table and it got the values. That's why this authorization object is also coming here. Okay. Then SCC4 is also entitled, or I should say it is used for creating another client. That's why it is also checking these values. It is also checking these values. So the table here is T000, and you should be able to execute, where is that? So SM, so 4 is you have that authorization object, but you don't have that value. So कहाँ गया वो? 4. You have the object, but with incorrect or different value. Okay, you have that object, but with a different value, RC8 and RC12. RC12 is you don't have the object itself. जब object ही नहीं होगा तो उसकी value तो हो ही नहीं सकती, right? So object RC12 is you don't have that object at all. RC4 is like you have the object, but you don't have the values inside it. Now the second, now coming to the next step, I executed SU01, right? So it gave return code 4. Why return code 4? The return code 4 means you have the object, but with incorrect or different value. So I should have the object, which is the object here, right? So I have the object here, but with a different value. So the values here were SGen, SCC4, AL08, SM04, like those values, but not with the value SU01, and that's why the return code 4. Okay. For the above cases wherein we got RC12, that means I had the value, I didn't had the object itself. So if I go and check my user, so let me go there and show you user maintenance. I can go to slash npscg, and if I go and open up the role that we built, so यहाँ पे is in this case the user might also complain that I'm not able to use XCC4 as well. So let me show you that slash nscc4, and then like for example if I'm a basis guy, I joined the basis team, I went to scc4 and I clicked on create display, no maintenance authorization for clause line table, something I got, some error I got, then I come to security, please troubleshoot this. So let me show you what it would look like. So I can execute again. Since my trace was already on, I think this would have also captured. So see here, it got captured. So it is saying you do not have s underscore tabu underscore CLI with CLID maintain client maintenance as checked. So I need to go into my role that I have, into that role which I have. So that role is here, and I should go. I need to go inside, and I need to search. Search for what? Search for this object. So basically, what I'm trying to do here is I want to search for this object and see if I have the right authorizations. ये मैंने search किया. I see that not allowed. This is not allowed. So I need to go and change this. I need to go to edit mode. Again, change authorization objects data. Search for s underscore tab underscore CLI. Click on this and click on change. I need to allow that. That's what was reported in my trace. So you can see CLID maintain should be X. So CLID main should be as X, so should be as checked. So I keep it allowed. So one issue would get resolved. So this error would get resolved. How about the other errors? So let me go and see those as well. So CTS underscore ADMI RC12 it is giving. That means this object is not there in my role at all. Okay. So that object itself is not there. Then we have CTS underscore SADM. This object is also giving a return code 12. So this might also not be there. It's not there. Then we come to S underscore ADMI underscore FCD, and we will be able to find this one because it is giving a return code 4, right? So I can see this object is there. So if I go and just technical names on, I can see this is the object name, right? S underscore ADMI underscore FCD, the same object. And then I can maintain T code SM30. So here system administration names are different. So here I need to put in S underscore ADMI FCD T000. I can just click on this. So you can see this S underscore ADMI underscore FCD, and I need to maintain T000. I can search for T000 in here. T000. I can select that, click on save, and click on save here. Generate the profile. Now once I'm generating the profile, I need to go back and I should do a user comparison here. I think so. It might not work. So let me try to click here. Okay, I was able to. See, now I'm able to go to the edit mode. Usually user master कर देते हैं because sometimes it might happen that the user is not able to do it right away. तो उसको log off करके फिर से log in करना पड़ेगा. So to avoid that, from my end I would change the role and I would do a user comparison right away just to save any problem for that matter. तो अभी वो user कर पा रहा है. He is able to go into the system and create a new entry. You have no authorization to create a new client. See, now another authorization issue आ गया. So I can go back to my trace and then I can go back, give the filter value again. This is still fine, and I can scroll down and I can see कुछ नया value आएगा मेरे पास में. 23, 26. RC0, RC0, RC0. Okay. New entry. No authorization to create a new client. But why? Okay, so let me go back and execute it one more time. This is having all return codes fine, but why is it not giving me the error? Okay. Maybe I have not allowed this client to have new S underscore ADMI underscore. I just gave this. This is contained all authorizations. The function was cancelled. Require the necessary authorization. I don't know why it is giving this error. It should not at this stage because I've given whatever was necessary. Anyways, maybe because I do not have the general role, right? BC end user. It also has authorizations which are for daily, which are for navigating from one screen to another. Maybe that is the reason. I'm not sure. But यहाँ पे authorization मैंने दे दिए हैं. So in trace you can see there are no auth issues for that matter. अगर मैं अपने user को if I give uh, this is my user. This is still star. If I just give this, and if I go here, click on new entry, it still shows no authorization. There is some other issue that means. Oh, now I'm able to. Okay, anyways, वो कुछ error नहीं है. That's not a problem actually. Maybe that navigation वाला issue कुछ होगा. इसके लिए कि मैंने अभी SAP all दिया तो वो चलने लगा. Anyways, so far we know about like trace का क्या problem था, how does trace look like, how trace is handled. So whatever you see in like light greens, you need to understand what is the return code saying. Return codes 4 means that object is there, this object was there, but this value was missing. So maybe with another value or not this value, whatever. So RC4 means that. So usually we would aim for rectifying RC4. RC12 की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती as we saw. Without RC12 also it was working. So aim for RC4s first. Once the RC4s are resolved and still the problem doesn't get resolved, then you have to aim for RC12 because sometimes these are like they might be getting pulled up due to some other authorization check. So that's why it was not needed. But since it was checking, it gave that error. So this is nothing but an authorization object check जो यहाँ पे हो रहा है, which we can see. And depending on that check itself, it is giving the return codes. Got it? हाँ. नहीं, इट्स नॉट नीडेड. अभी जैसे मैंने फिक्स किया है तो मैं उसको बोलूंगा कि आप करो. अगर वो कर लेगा दैट मीन्स द इश्यू इज रिजॉल्व. अगर वो नहीं कर पाएगा देन अगेन आई विल हैव टू सेट अप ट्रेस अगेन एंड फाइंड आउट. हाँ, तो ऐसा पॉसिबिलिटी है कि उसका रिजॉल्व हो जाए. ऐसा भी पॉसिबिलिटी है कि उसका रिजॉल्व नहीं हो. देयर इज अनदर स्टेप जहां वो फिर से अटक जाए. तो वी कीप ऑन डूइंग दिस एक्टिविटी अंटिल हिज रिजॉल्व हिज इशू इज रिजॉल्व्ड. And we do all of these things in development or testing system, never in production. Production में बोलेगा कि I'm not able to use this in production. So I don't go into production and create a role and start assigning authorization objects. No, never. So what I'll do is I'll copy his production access into development. So copy production access and assign it to test ID in development or test system. Okay. Once that is done, then you give them the credentials to work. Okay. And then once they start working, they will get the same errors which they got in production. And then you rectify those things. Okay. So to copy the production access, you just need to go to production, go to SU01, go to roles section, and then you copy all the roles inside it. You just take the text of all the roles and just paste it somewhere. Create a test ID in dev, assign all the roles back to that ID. Copy all the roles and also profiles. क्योंकि देखिए ऐसा हार्डली होगा कि उसके पास कोई प्रोडक्शन में कोई प्रोफाइल होगा और उसका रोल नहीं होगा. इट विल हार्डली हैपन बिकॉज वी विल बी असाइनिंग ओनली रोल्स इन प्रोडक्शन. कोई किसी को हम डायरेक्टली प्रोफाइल नहीं असाइन करेंगे. स्ट्रेट एंड सिंपल रीजन, अगर कोई रोल है, अगर कोई प्रोफाइल है तो उसका करस्पॉन्डिंग रोल होना चाहिए. नॉट व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग फॉर एसएपी ऑल एंड एसएपी न्यू, लेकिन जो भी हम लोग कस्टम रोल्स बना रहे हैं सबका प्रोफाइल होगा। तो वी आर असाइनिंग रोल्स टू दैट यूजर एंड नॉट प्रोफाइल्स। वी आर नॉट सपोज टू बी असाइनिंग प्रोफाइल्स लाइक एसएपी ऑल एसएपी न्यू। सो प्रोफाइल तो असाइन करने का मतलब आता ही नहीं है। सो जो भी रोल्स प्रोडक्शन में है, वी क्रिएट अ कॉपी ऑफ दोस, मीन्स वी क्रिएट अ टेस्ट आईडी विद द सेम रोल्स इन डेवलपमेंट और टेस्ट एंड गिव द क्रेडेंशियल्स टू दिस यूजर टू टेस्ट। So once you start testing, वहाँ पे फिर error आएगा and then this trace analysis and going back and forth to resolve the issues. Once the issue gets resolved, we get a maybe a test role जो कि which needs to be copied into his existing role. Some किसी एक role में हम वो सारा access add कर देंगे and then that would go to production as a fix. So that's how we do it. So मतलब आज का agenda ये था, you should understand how trace helps us, right? And what are the different sets of return codes in trace, what is like uh, a common access that we have to give to users. How do we create a role? Now you understood, right? How do we create a role? So yesterday what we did was we just created a role with a copy of an existing role. So अगर कुछ existing role है, I'll just show you. तो जैसे ये existing role था, अभी मुझे इसका एक और copy बनाना है, I can just go and click this first icon. इसको क्लिक करूंगा, then it would create a copy of this role and I can give some name of that role and again do the same set of activities which I was doing earlier, right? So instead of creating a new role right from scratch, I'm creating a copy and then adding or modifying the contents inside. So that is an easy task when it comes to real time and scenarios, because it's not possible for you to collect all the business requirements from everybody. तो एसएपी ने कुछ स्टैंडर्ड रोल्स दे दिए हैं कि ये पीएम के लिए रोल होगा, ये फिको के लिए ये कॉमन रोल रहेगा, ये सिक्योरिटी एडमिन के लिए रहेगा, लाइक यस्टरडे वी सॉ वन सिक्योरिटी एडमिन रोल। तो ये सिक्योरिटी के लिए, इसमें ज़्यादातर एक्सेस सिक्योरिटी रिलेटेड है तो वो रहेगा। एंड देन वी क्रिएट कॉपी एंड देन वी टेलर इट जस्ट टू यूज वॉट एवर वी नीड। So we just remove whatever is unwanted, we just take whatever we need and then we start using that. That's it, simple, right? Any doubts for today? Hmm. हाँ, अभी थोड़ा सा इधर उधर वेग है। I'll share this video if it is actually recording. So I think we are done with the session, so let me stop the recording both ways. Okay, 1 घंटा तो recording हो ही है, so let me stop this.